An ancient dark god has awakened, plunging Earth into shadow and unleashing a cosmic threat like never before. Heroes fall, allies unite, and Eddie Brock rises from the brink of death to wield a power that could change the fate of the universe. This is the King in Black storyline, where light and darkness clash and a new ruler is crowned. While battling a massive symbiote dragon called Grendel, Eddie Brock uncovers the existence of Knull, the dark god of the symbiotes. Sensing Knull's presence, Eddie transforms into Venom and reaches out to the Avengers to warn them that Knull's arrival is imminent. Meanwhile, Eddie's son Dylan reveals that he can also feel Knull's approach. At Avengers Mountain, key members Captain America, Iron Man, She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel are monitoring Knull's arrival. In preparation, Iron Man deploys a Kree-Skrull warship loaded with explosives, creating a minefield in space. As thousands of symbiote dragons descend, Iron Man detonates the warship, wiping out half of them, but the remaining dragons make it to Earth. The Avengers and the Fantastic Four rush in to engage the remaining symbiote dragons, while Eddie secures his son Dylan in a bunker for protection. Captain America contacts Venom, acknowledging that Plan A failed and signaling that it's time to initiate Plan B. The Avengers and Fantastic Four, joined by Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, continue battling the symbiote dragons, exploiting their vulnerability to lightning. However, there's a setback since Thor is currently unreachable. To bolster their efforts, Professor X sends reinforcements from the X-Men. Magneto, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Cable head to Washington Square Park, where Storm immediately unleashes a barrage of lightning, targeting the symbiote dragons. Meanwhile, Eddie heads to a spire used by Carnage and realizes that Knull's true aim is to seize control of his Venom symbiote. In another part of the battlefield, Doctor Strange is summoning allies when he is suddenly devoured by a symbiote dragon. Eddie then links himself to Carnage's throne, broadcasting a warning. Knull has arrived, and he's not alone. He's brought along symbiote-covered Celestials, intensifying the threat to Earth. Knull emerges from one of the Celestials, declaring that he's searching for someone named Brock. In response, Captain America calls in the Avengers' most powerful asset, Sentry. Sentry confronts Knull, grabbing him and flying into Earth's orbit, intending to repeat what he once did to Carnage by tearing him apart. However, Knull turns the tables, overpowering Sentry, and rips him in half instead. As Knull absorbs the Void, the dark force inside Sentry, he proclaims that darkness bows to him. He is the Void. Venom witnesses this horrifying scene through the symbiote hive mind, with Captain America standing stunned as a direct witness. Realizing the dire situation, Iron Man urgently orders everyone to retreat, but Captain America insists on holding the line, determined to give the others enough time to escape and regroup. Knull's symbiotes begin overwhelming and engulfing the heroes one by one. To further tighten his control, Knull encases the entire planet in a symbiote dome, cutting off Earth's connection to sunlight. As Storm attempts to fight off the symbiotes, Iron Man urges her to retreat, but she too is consumed by Knull's forces. Eddie contacts Iron Man, declaring his intention to confront Knull directly, hoping to buy time for the others to come up with a way to defeat him. Venom faces Knull, revealing that he's the Brock Knull is seeking. However, Knull corrects him, stating that his true target is Dylan Brock. Desperate, Eddie pleads with Knull to spare his son and take him instead. Ignoring Eddie's plea, Knull forcefully tears the Venom symbiote from Eddie's body, asserting that he intends to capture Dylan as well, but not just yet. After stripping Eddie of his symbiote, Knull hurls Eddie's vulnerable body from the sky. Eddie crashes onto a car, suffering severe injuries. As Spider-Man rushes to his aid, he's confronted by the now symbiote-controlled heroes, who have turned against him under Knull's influence. Human Torch arrives just in time, instructing Spider-Man to rush Eddie to the Fantastic Four's lab for urgent medical attention. While Spider-Man takes Eddie away, Human Torch holds the line, battling the symbiote-controlled superheroes on his own. At the lab, Spider-Man meets Jane Foster's Valkyrie, anxiously informing her that Eddie's condition is critical and they need to act fast. Valkyrie solemnly explains that Eddie's injuries are so severe that his death is very close. Determined to help, Spider-Man heads out to retrieve Dylan. When he returns to the lab with Dylan, they find a tense scene. Blade is locked in a heated argument with Professor X and Magneto, while Black Panther consults with Susan Richards and Valkyrie. The conversation turns to drastic measures, even considering the use of the Infinity Gems or the Cosmic Cube as potential solutions to combat Knull's overwhelming threat. Namor arrives and asks for the next step in their strategy. Iron Man explains that they need a symbiote dragon to reconnect with Eddie and restore Venom. Namor's mission is to dive into the Mariana Trench and awaken the ancient Atlantean warriors known as the Black Tide. Blade is tasked with heading to Chernobyl to recruit Dracula, while Mayor Fisk will hire villains to help defend New York. Iron Man sets out to capture a symbiote dragon, using his extremist technology to seize control of it. He successfully brings the dragon back to the Fantastic Four's lab, but the plan backfires. The symbiote starts attacking Eddie instead of reviving him. In a desperate move, Dylan unleashes his powers, forcing the symbiote off Eddie. Observing this, Reed Richards realizes that Dylan is the key to their battle against Knull. Suddenly, the lab is filled with the ominous sound of a flatline. Eddie has died. As the weight of this hits, Invisible Woman and Blade struggle to manage the symbiote chaos. Seeing no other choice, Mr. Fantastic urges Spider-Man and Wolverine to rely on Dylan's abilities, recognizing that he might be their best hope against the symbiotes. Dylan, Spider-Man, and Wolverine approach the Invisible Woman, where Dylan uses his powers to free Captain America from the symbiote's control. This catches Knull's attention, and he immediately senses Dylan's location, but before Knull can reach him, Thor arrives on the scene. Working together, Thor and Dylan manage to free several more heroes. Knull then confronts Thor, and the two clash fiercely. Thor gains the upper hand, but Knull suddenly activates the symbiote-covered Celestials he brought to Earth. As Thor's focus shifts to the new threat, Knull seizes the moment, striking Thor from behind with his symbiote sword. Iron Man arrives, riding the symbiote dragon that Dylan had freed. He uses the dragon to take command of one of the two Celestials. In the midst of the chaos, Knull captures Dylan, dragging him away. Seeing Dylan in danger, Thor sends his ravens, Hugin and Munin, with a message, summoning an ally. Soon, Silver Surfer arrives to aid in the battle. Knull seeks to dominate Dylan because he possesses the symbiote codex, a crucial element for Knull's plans. However, Dylan fights back, freeing Cyclops, Invisible Woman, Black Cat, Human Torch, and Doctor Strange from the symbiote's control. In response, Doctor Strange transforms into his more powerful form, and the heroes rally to fight the symbiotes together. Namor, with the help of Blacktide, Spider-Man, Thor, and Storm, unleash their powers, dealing significant damage to Knull's forces. Jean Grey then steps in, using her psychic abilities to freeze Knull in place. While holding him, she glimpses Knull's past and discovers that the only force capable of defeating him is the God of Light, known as the Enigma Force. However, the sheer volume of information overwhelms her, and Jean collapses, unconscious. By the way, if you want to know about origins of Knull, you can check my previous video from the I button. The Enigma Force was attempting to break through the symbiote dome surrounding Earth, but couldn't get through on its own. Silver Surfer intervened and helped it penetrate the barrier, causing Knull to writhe in agony. The Enigma Force then leaves the battlefield and arrives at the Fantastic Four's lab, merging with Eddie Brock's lifeless body, transforming him into the new Captain Universe. Meanwhile, Silver Surfer stands face-to-face with Knull, ready for battle. He reshapes his surfboard into a sword, and Knull responds by drawing a sword from his own symbiote armor. Just as their duel is about to commence, the Avengers arrive to join the fray. As they prepare to assist Silver Surfer, a newly empowered Venom, now in his Captain Universe form, appears. He tells the Avengers to focus on protecting civilians, while he and Silver Surfer will handle Knull. Knull dismisses Venom's transformation, declaring that no version of the God of Light can escape his darkness. But Venom surprises everyone by doing the unthinkable. He summons both Thor's Mjolnir and Silver Surfer's board, merging them into a powerful battle axe. Venom, wielding his newly forged weapon, tears through the symbiote dragons, realizing that, for the first time, Knull is truly afraid of him. Knull, desperate to regain control, commands a symbiote-controlled Celestial to attack Venom. However, Venom makes quick work of the Celestial, destroying it completely. With renewed determination, Venom grabs hold of Knull and takes him to the very spot where Knull had once forcibly separated Eddie from the Venom symbiote. In a mirror image of that event, Venom strips Knull of his symbiote armor and lets him plummet to the ground. Knull tries to manipulate Venom, claiming that darkness still resides within Dylan, but Venom isn't swayed. Venom then drags Knull out of Earth's symbiote barrier and heads straight for the sun. Knull, desperate, warns Venom that darkness is endless and has teeth, but Venom retorts that they too have teeth, and with the combined power of the sun and the Unipower, he obliterates Knull. In the aftermath, Eddie hears a voice, the Enigma Force, explaining that the symbiote hive is now free from Knull's grasp and celebrating their newfound freedom. On Earth, as the situation stabilizes, vampires turn on Blade, but when the symbiote barrier vanishes and sunlight floods the planet, the vampires are incinerated. Venom's battle axe disintegrates, and Mjolnir and Silver Surfer's board return to their rightful owners. Spider-Man checks on Eddie, asking if everything is alright. Eddie confirms it is, then goes to his son, extracting the remaining symbiote from Dylan. The Unipower then separates from Eddie, announcing that Eddie is now something greater than a mere human. Venom rises, hovering without a host, surrounded by other symbiotes. He informs Eddie that he has become the new nexus of the hive mind, the god of the symbiotes, the new king in black. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Also, tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.